After clicking on Roles, you'll be presented with this page here that displays all the available roles thus far for your organization. This current listing is the default listings for each organization at the time that the organization is created. To explore the details of any of these, simply click anywhere in the row and you'll be taken to a details page. Here you can clone the role, which is make an exact copy of the role. You may want to do that if you have a similar role that you'd like to create. You can start by cloning this role and then making changes accordingly. You can edit the role, which is changing the permissions for this particular role, or you can remove the role, delete it altogether. First, you might want to think about what permissions you want a particular staff member to have before looking at this role. And over here under permissions, you can explore exactly what those permission sets corresponding to this particular role will be. So you can click on the arrows here, organization staff here, accessing staff section of the organization. That just means they can log into the admin, which is where we are now. Case is an important setting. Do you want them to be able to view cases, add cases, edit their own case, edit any case, delete their own case, etc. So if you have questions about these, please contact First Light Support, which you can do through the support site. You can't actually make changes to the permissions on this page. You can just explore here. To make changes, you got to click the edit role over here, and then you can make the changes that you want to do. Once you're set on the changes that you'd like to make, you can click Save, otherwise cancel. But it's important to note that when you make changes and save a role, if there's any staff members that already have been assigned that role, their permissions are going to change. So everyone assigned that role, it's going to change it for everyone. So that's a useful tool, but just note that it's going to change it for everyone. A better bet to do might be, if you have, say, multiple roles that are going to be similar, is just to go ahead and clone the role. It's going to make an exact copy of this, name it something else, and then you'll be able to make changes to that role and then assign new users to that role, or reassign existing users to that role. Going back to the roles main page here, the organization admin, that user will have, any user assigned that role will have full access to the system. They'll be able to add new users, manage everything under the settings, work on surveys, feedback reports. So typically this is the first user we set up, and then that user, the organization admin, can create other administrators or other staff members with their respective permissions. Let's take a look at what you need to do in order to clone a role. Let's start with the staff role. If we come to this summary page here, you can click on Clone Role. It'll ask you if you're sure you want to do it. You click Clone. And now you'll see here you'll be brought to this summary page again, and this time it's called Staff Clone. You might want to jump back in there and say, change it to something else. You can see here the description is it was copied from staff. We might change that to referrer. And we might change this to staff referrer. And then we can jump in here and make changes. Maybe we don't want them to be able to delete cases, for example, or view activity log for a case. And we may not want them to view attachments or add case attachments, and so on. Maybe they shouldn't see the custom attributes. Once you're set on what that role should be, you can click Save, and you can go on and make additional changes to it at any point. Note, however, that any changes that you make will be applied to anyone that's been assigned that role. So we go back to roles, you'll see now here staff refer role has been added, and you can jump back into it if you wanted to do so. And this new role will now be available when new users are created to assign that role to the new user, or existing users can now be assigned that role.